Hello, everyone. Great to have you on this show. I'm so excited that you're on this journey with me. We're live now. We are live. We are live. We have some viewers coming online. We'd like to know wherever you're connecting from. We'd like to welcome you for today's show. Great to have you online. Great to have you connecting from wherever you're connecting from. We'd like to have your names, where you're connecting from, so we can recognize everyone connecting today. I want to say congratulations on your journey to making a difference with me. I'm so excited you're getting on this journey with me. We can all become that change agent we all called to be. And on this show, Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh, we train, we teach, we mentor, and we coach people on how they can become better versions of themselves in the areas of finances, business, career, leadership, skills, relationship, and all phases of life. We learn from other people's story and life experience so we can get better. I mean, those who have gone ahead of us our foreparents and everything. Those who are ahead of us, who have been through the same route or the same thing we want to do in life. We try to avoid the pitfalls they fell into so that we can soar higher like the eagles and we can get to our goals faster and we can become better versions of ourselves. Making a difference includes being financially okay, doing great on all business front, all phases of life, doing great both spiritually, physically, and mentally. And that's what we do here. And when we get guests like we're having this evening to speak, we learn from them because they've been through some route and through some painful situations in their life, and that they are successes in their chosen endeavors, and they are already making success. And that's the reason why we'll bring them on this show so we can learn from them. We do not have to reinvent the wheel. We do not have to fall into the same pitfalls they fell. We can get faster to wherever we're going because we learn from others. And today we have a guest today. I'll be reading a short bio that speaks about how she's making a difference in a world. Versonya Maria DuPont is the only daughter born to Donut and the late Vassie DuPont. She came of age in Savannah and raised by a village community servants, including her parents, godparents, aunties, and uncles. West Point learned at early age that service is the rent we pay to live on God's green earth. She has over 20 years of experience casting visions, driving execution as an executive for both startup and million-dollar businesses. Her measure of success has always included awareness of the impact of the work she does on the lives of others and beyond performance goals and profit margin. She's an awesome coach. Point, Vasilia, her mother, used to tell her, "Don't strive to do as well as I do, strive to be better." And she is still striving as we speak. She's not gotten to her end point yet. She is still striving. She's still on the journey to becoming that change agent. Her life is dedicated to empowering others, giving voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Professionally, she has held the titles of entrepreneur, director of technology. She's also project manager, educational technology specialist. She endeavors to impact the community where she lives as a leader in a national humanitarian organization called Top Ladies of the Extinction, as well as through a membership with Victory Church, where she serves as a leader with a small group and mission ministries. Versonya is also the founder and executive director of Life Well Lived Charity Incorporated, a nonprofit whose mission is to support abundant living through charitable giving and education in the area of K to 20 education. 20 education. Our entrepreneurship and community service has spoken a lot, especially to those who are undeserved, distressed, or economically disadvantaged. It has been a goal in each role to be a servant leader with a standard of excellence for developing the talents and the potentials in others. That's so sacrificial. Great, you're doing this already. Versonya is an executive director with John Maxwell Leadership Team member, certified as a speaker, coach, and trainer. She combines her knowledge and experience with content and learning systems developed by John Maxwell to custom design leadership and personal growth programs for individuals and organizations. Versonya currently resides in Roswell, Georgia. You'll learn more about the work she does by following her at www.facebook.com Vapor SU. Let me spell it VEMPOWERSU, or leaving a request for follow up at www.elconsultants. Let me spell it for www.elconsultants.com. You could also, just in case you try to reach out to her and you're not able, you can always shoot me a mail. I'll be able to link you up to her. And this time around, she'll be the next person to speak as I invite her and bring her up stage this moment. Hello there. How are you doing? I'm so excited to meet with you and so excited to have you on this show. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We're not going to take so much of your time. We just want to learn from you and, just, get some kind of knowledge and, gather from you where you've made success and how we can become better versions of ourselves, as that's everybody's striving to be. And we are already in the space of trying to live a life of significance. Like Papa John said, he said success goes beyond just being successful. You get to a stage in your life that you want to live a life of significance. You want to leave a mark in the sand of times, such that when you're no longer there, we know about the works you've done and we can celebrate the impact you've made in our world. So it's all yours now. We want to hear from you. My audience would like to know you better than what I've just said about you. That's it. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate this opportunity. And Sandra, I just love your energy. I love your vision. And I just love your generosity. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They like to know you. You tell us about yourself. What has informed you in what you're doing now? Because I know that you're not, what you read in college is not what you're pursuing. Something must have moved you and propelled you to doing what you're doing right now. We like to learn and hear from you. What propelled you? What are the steps you took to get to where you are right now?
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. And I must say that I truly am the daughter of Donald and the late Versie DuPont. I grew up in a household where on the way to church, if my dad saw someone walking on the street, he would pull over and ask if he could help. I grew up in a household where you had to ear hustle, as we say now, in order to hear grown folk conversation and to find out that my mom would sponsor a child who couldn't afford to go off to a summer camp or something to that effect. And so I grew up in a household where values of serving others and of lifting others up so that they can be the better version of themselves, it wasn't said in that way. It was just lived.
Sure.
And so for me, you go on a life journey, and it's when you look back that you see the path. So of course, as a child, it was just mom and dad. It was just mom and dad. And so when I thought about career and what I thought about being a professional, I was still influenced by mom and dad. My mom was a teacher. She was an elementary school teacher. My dad's hobby was technology. So when I went off to school and when I got my bachelor's and continued on for graduate studies, I combined mom and dad. And I got my degree in education technology.
They were a positive influence. They had a positive influence on you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I left their house, but I took them with me.
Awesome.
Yes. So that was my degree, and my formal training was as a computer scientist, and then later in the field of education.
Sure.
And so for me, Sandra, I had the pleasure of, throughout my entire career, I enjoyed what I was doing. When I was working in education, I was helping to develop teachers. I was helping to train school districts. I was helping to design leadership programs for leaders in education. And I was living and loving the values that I learned at home. And yet, and still, there was a piece of my life that was separate from my profession. So I was doing these things in education, and I was enjoying my colleagues. I was enjoying the people that we got to serve. And then when I was off the clock, I would do faith-based things.
Sure.
I would serve in ministries in the church, or I would participate in initiatives that the church had. And so those parts of my life and my values were separate. And you know the old adage, you don't know what you don't know?
What you don't know, what you don't know. Yeah. Mhm.
You don't know what you don't know. And so had you asked me at that time whether I enjoyed doing what I was doing, I would tell you absolutely yes. And that formed a nice bridge. And it wasn't by choice. The last company that I worked for laid off 90% of the workforce.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. And so I was part of that, what do you call it? Non-voluntary unemployment situation. But it was an opportunity. And so it was an opportunity to take the best of what I had been doing for my entire career, which is meeting people where they were and helping them to move from where they were to where they wanted to be. I got to take that best part of that. And then I got to build a foundation that was built on the values, beliefs, and priority of my faith, and develop my business. And so then now, as opposed to living a separate life, I get to live an intentional life. So I am a woman of faith. All of my clients are not necessarily of faith or of the same faith as I am. But what they get is the benefit of me being fully present, bringing values that anyone can appreciate to a conversation and to a space to help them move from where they are to where they
Where
want
they
to.
want to go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And that's what, I think the 15 Invaluable Laws, the book I'm reading, I
Mm,
got to the rubber band, the chapter rubber band, that says the level where you find yourself
mhm,
is your starting point.
mhm,
The space you want to be, maybe in the next 5, 10, 20 years,
mhm,
is a gap of where you want to be, where you see yourself in the next few years to come. It
mhm,
says, let that tension of where you want to be propel you from where you are to get in there. So once you see there is a gap, you say the tension is what keep you going. The
yeah,
tension is what keep you, striving hard. Even
yeah,
when you fail, you still keep striving. You still keep trying to be
mhm,
able to get there. He said,
yeah,
once there is no tension, something pushing you, you
mm,
could just remain at the place where you are. You will
mm,
make no difference.
mm,
So you must see where you're going, just like you said, that
mhm,
you are moving people from where they are now to
mhm,
where they want to be. So there
mhm,
must be a change in levels. There must be that gap and where you're starting from and where you want to go to. Thank you so much for that word. I really took that in, and I decided to, reiterate it for people who are just joining so they can get a good grasp of what you just said some few minutes ago. I want to find out from you, how did you manage with work and relationship? Because I know that sometimes, we get so busy, get so,
Mm,
we'll work, 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 and not play. And so the family front sometimes tend to suffer. How
mhm.
did you manage with that? And so far, I know you're already a success in what you do. So we want to learn from you. How did you manage? How did you manage?
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question. And Sandra, it took me a journey to get to the place where I am content in how I am managing that.
Sure.
And when I say it took me a journey, there are certain things that were important to me. So, rest is important to me.
Yeah.
You also are an entrepreneur or business owner. So,
Yeah.
you know that can be a 24/7 commitment.
Yeah.
And what I realized was I don't show up as my best self if when I'm serving others, I am on empty. And so what I had to go back to was my why. And the same was true for my family. When I became an entrepreneur, one of my top motivating factors was second on my priority. Second, because the first was I became an entrepreneur so that I can intentionally complete assignments that God gave to me. So he was my first priority. My second priority was I wanted to have the flexibility to prioritize my family. So
Yeah.
I did not want my family to feel like they had to compete with my business. And so the way I manage it is I am very calendar driven. That is just how I get things done. And so I wanted my calendar to reflect my priorities. So on my calendar, I have my family time.
Mm. Awesome.
So I know in these moments, I am booked just as if I am in the process of negotiating a
Yes,
high
ma'am.
ticket contract, regardless of what the performance or target goals may be in my business. On my calendar, I have family time. And then something else that I do is I build in flexibility of scheduling. So there are members of my family who, because of their current situation, their needs are not always predictable. So it's not as convenient as me saying, okay, well, I know Auntie Sandra is going to need me on Monday.
Mm.
I may have already laid out the week's calendar, and at the top of the day, Auntie Sandra calls me and tells me it's an emergency and I need you to take me someplace. And so when I do my scheduling, I literally build in the flexibility so that if I need to move things, it's very
You
clear
can move.
how to move them. Yes, yes, yes. So that is how I manage. Because of how I operate, I'm calendar driven. So I manage by making the the main thing, which is my family.
Sure. Then, when you had low moments, when you have things not going well for you, how did you manage? Because I know that a lot of times in this side of the world, people tend to, take their life.
Yeah.
They get frustrated and they just throw in the towels. They want to end it all.
Mhm.
How have you managed all the process of low moments and having people doing such around you?
Mm, mm. Um, that is a good question, Sandra. And there are many ways that I manage. Here are the top two. I go on prayer walks 5 days a week.
Mm.
And I tell you, Sandra, the world does not want to engage me if I missed a prayer walk.
Mm. Mm.
So On a routine basis, I go on prayer walks early in the morning. But if I am feeling especially overwhelmed, or if the weight of something that I'm dealing with, it feels beyond what I can bear, then I increase the amount of prayer walks that I go on. And there is just something about being out in nature, in God's creation, that somehow puts me in a space where I can hear from Him clearly. And then there are sometimes, Sandra, where I just can't even pick myself up to go out and meet God while I know that he is there for me. And here is what I love about His kindness. By the grace of God, I have a community
Mm.
of other believers. And these are people who I can show my ugly to. These are people who I can be vulnerable with. These are people who I can call and say, I'm hurt. I don't want to tell you what's going on, but I need a hug. These are people who I can trust to bear me up until I do have the strength I need to go out and go on that prayer walk. So for me, my top two ways of managing when it's beyond what I can do alone
Yeah.
is seeking God and or seeking those trusted believers.
Friends and believers.
Absolutely.
Awesome. 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 Can you just give us in maybe 2, 3 minutes in
Mhm.
what area you're making a difference in the lives? Because I know you have a number of profits, and I
Mhm.
know that you've been through some negative downtime where you've
Mhm.
been through some pain.
Mhm.
Have you managed the pains, and
Mhm.
how have you been able to sustain your business?
So, the biggest pain that I have ever encountered was the loss of my mom.
Mm.
And I tell you, Sandra, and I tell anyone this who will give me an ear. My brother lost his mom the same day that I lost mine, but you couldn't tell it because for an entire calendar year, he carried me. And I turned over the operations of all of my personal and business affairs to him. And he carried me. And I cannot tell you what happened in that 1 year period. I know I got up, I know I went to work, and I know that I must have functioned because nobody else was aware that every single day after work, I would come home, crawl in bed, and sleep until the next day when I had to go to work. And I did that for a full year. And there was something that my other brother said. He said, you know what? I choose not to remember how mama died, but I choose to remember how she lived.
Wow.
And that struck me.
Mm.
And so one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm going to turn this from a pain of losing mom to a
So,
gain of celebrating her life.
yes.
And I called both of my brothers, and they were in agreement. And it was from that space that we formed our family nonprofit to honor the legacy of the life that my parents lived together.
Sure.
Because they were married 1 month shy of 50 years when mama passed.
Wow. 50 years anniversary.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. And let me tell you, they were still acting like newlyweds.
Really?
Mm,
So awesome. Oh my God. That's lovely. That's awesome. Mm. So for you to
absolutely.
find old people still being together. But on this side of the world, you hardly find people being together this long.
Mhm.
They had a good connection.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they were friends.
Yes. Best friends.
Oh, awesome. I actually want to just go quickly to what you said. You spoke about rests,
Yes.
having a 24/7 rest, because that's a great commitment because you need to keep the body that you have to be able to serve others. If you are not well rested and the body breaks down, you can be there to serve.
Mm,
Awesome, you said. And you said you need to know your why. And that's what everyone needs to know. The moment you know the reason why you are on this side of the planet, you would function the way God has sent you to be. But once he said, when the purpose of a thing is not known,
mm,
abuse is inevitable. So
mm,
when I know why I am here and I'm aware, I have my self awareness that this is who I am and this is why I am here, I'm able
mhm,
so make an impact. I'm able to live my life to the fullest. I'm able to fulfill purpose. I'm able to fulfill my mission here on earth. And it says, first priority, you said it all, giving God his rightful place.
yes.
And the family, because I told, was it my kids some days ago or just few hours ago? I said, you don't choose the family you belong to.
Mm,
You don't choose those words. You
mm,
find yourself in a family, and
mhm,
you must cherish that family you have because they are the first, they are the second to run to after God when you have issues and challenges. So you want to have people around you before you start, And in the absence, I've had a lot of people who've had challenges and there were no one around. Like the story I told you earlier, I told you the woman had all the influences around her were negative, and she
mm,
felt that the only way to stop the pain that she was going through was to end her life. Which said she said something kept her going. Thank God for the Spirit of God. I think she said something just happened. She kept on going. And
mm,
today she's 71. She wanted to commit suicide at age 15. So you can see that gap of age. So I was glad for her. She's done a lot and she's made a promise to God that she's not going to hurt anyone. She's going to be there for people. And so that's why we are here. We've moved on from the level of just being successful, making money, being affluent, and being comfortable. But
mm.
we are moving to the level of living a life of significance. We want to impact our world. We want to leave a mark in the sand of times. And that's what presently Show is doing. That was a story you told at the IMC events. I
Yes.
think you're missing that. But before we go into that story, give
Yes.
me a minute. Let's take a break for a minute and we'll be back. So I think
Okay.
I use the opportunity to show my book trailer. Thank you so much. I just decided to take this, and also to show the book because
Yes.
I actually said one of the reasons this year, just like when did we say Happy New Year? We're almost half year. And some people might be giving up saying, oh my God, I didn't do well in the first half of the year. I want to reassure you, second half it's going to be a better year. You can take another stride. You can take another giant stride. You can take another giant stride. So I believe that the next half of the year is going to be great. And I just showed my book. You can get it on Amazon. Can anything hold you back? Nothing should keep you from becoming your best versions. We have all it takes to be the best and to do well. And so we go back to our guest speaker today. So I want to find out from you um, the story you shared with us at the IMC.
Mhm. Yes. You would like me to share it here?
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. So I was a part of an evangelism team at church, and on Saturday, we were out in the neighborhood sharing the gospel. And so I look up and I see Pastor running with this young man. I am shocked, concerned, and appalled. You see, Pastor is an African American and how shall I say, pleasantly plump man. And so I just know at any minute he's going to fall out. And so as Pastor comes back down the hill, huffing and puffing, I say, Pastor, what were you thinking? And he said he saw the young man. He asked him if he can speak with him. And he said, sure, if you run with me. And Pastor said he knew at that moment that that man mattered. So he took off running. And so then the next day, I was working on the phone lines at church, and I get a call. It was an elderly lady, and she says, hello, may I speak with someone at the church? And I said, yes, ma'am. How can I help you? She said, on yesterday, my grandson, he met a man who ran with him, and he accepted Christ. I said, yes, ma'am. I was with that team. How is your grandson? She told me that that night he was killed in a drive-by shooting.
Wow.
And I started to say, ma'am, I am so sorry. She said, no, young lady, don't do that. You see, you don't understand. My entire family has tried for years to get that boy in church, and he would not step 1 foot in the church building or listen to the gospel. But on yesterday, he met a man who was willing to run with him. And so he accepted Christ. And so I'm going to miss my grandson, but I am so happy to know that I will see him again in eternity. That message stayed with me. And it helped me to understand that when you're willing to meet somebody where they are, they will open a door of opportunity for you that they may not for anybody else. And so for me, as a leadership coach and as a speaker, I value making sure that my clients know that they are seen, heard, and understood. And I be sure to meet them where they are.
Sure. Awesome. That touched me. That was so thrilling because you never know the last moment of anyone. And you know what encouraged me? I think that word you spoke. Who knew the boy was going to pass on?
Mm.
Who knew he was going to die?
Mm.
And that was how this gentleman ended his life and his career.
Mm.
So I think what you just said in summary is taking an opportunity. Every time you see an opportunity open, an opportunity might not be there for you tomorrow. Once an opportunity, the door of an opportunity is open unto you, you need to latch onto it and take it over. I'm sure when you saw that man running with this boy, you'll be like, what is he doing with this boy? He could strip off and, fall there and probably have a broken bone or something.
Mm.
But this man was willing to go the extra mile.
Mm.
And that's what life should be. And that's what life ought to be. Going
Mm.
the extra mile to be able to serve. As a leadership coach, speaking, trainer for myself, I try to go the extra mile. I try to want to serve. As leadership is influence. Leadership is service to humanity. And that's what you're doing. Giving back from that which you have, from the knowledge you're sharing to others. I want to appreciate you for your time, making out to, be on this live show with me.
Yeah.
What will be your last word for our viewers today? What will be your last statements such that if someone is just logging in, he or she can run with that word and said, I got from the lady who spoke today as making a difference show with Sandra? What would be?
My word would be make today count. Just focus on today. Make today count. And when you wake up tomorrow, make that day count. And you will notice over time that the thing that you do today will become the thing that you're known for.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sarah. I really appreciate your time with us. Thank you. That was a great time. I really, really have a lot again. I wrote down celebrate your benefits, celebrate the good things you do, your small success and victory. And I want to encourage our viewers today, bit by bit, step by step, you will get to your destination. Never give up. It is not a giant stride. You must start small, but be at every point, be doing something. Keep moving, keep
Mm.
moving, keep moving, keep striving, keep taking that giant stride. And surely you will get to your end point. Like she earlier said, I take my people, whoever I meet, from where they are to where they want to be. And that is it. That is how life should be. You must have a picture of where you want to be so that there is a force propelling you from where you are now to where you want to be. I want to thank our audience, everyone connecting. I want to say thank you for staying put to the end of the show. I want to say thank you until we meet again on our next episode. Do have a nice and a blessed evening. Thank you so much, Point. Thank you, our viewers. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.